Today, in the cradle of the ancient Olympic spirit, an extraordinary moment once again connected the modern world with its timeless heritage. In ancient Olympia, under the soft midday light of November 26, 2025, the Olympic flame was ceremonially ignited, marking the official beginning of the journey toward the 2026 Milano-Cortina Winter Games. With exactly 72 days left until the opening ceremony, the world witnessed a profound symbol of peace, unity, and shared human ambition rekindled at the very site where the ancient games were born almost 3,000 years ago. As the priestess, dressed in traditional ceremonial robes, stepped forward among the ruins of the Temple of Hera, the audience fell silent. Her movements were measured and graceful, reflecting centuries of ritual carried through time. Using the power of the sun and a parabolic mirror, she captured a ray of natural light, an unbroken connection to the gods of ancient myth and the hope of future generations. The flame rose gently, flickering at first, then growing into a steady, glowing fire, the flame that would soon travel across continents to signal the opening of the next global celebration of sport. Behind her stood performers representing nymphs of the forest and guardians of the ancient traditions. Their choreography, slow and deliberate, evoked the spiritual bond between the athletes of the past and the champions who will soon compete on the snow and ice of Italy's alpine venues. Observers from Greece, Italy, and the international Olympic community watched from stone terraces, surrounded by olive trees and the whispers of history carried by the wind. Once the flame was secured in the ceremonial torch, the first torchbearer stepped forward. This year's honor went to a young Greek athlete who has emerged as a rising star in winter sports, a symbolic bridge between Greece's ancient traditions and Italy's modern Olympic stage. His stride through the archaeological grounds marked the first steps of a relay that will span both Greece and Italy, bringing the symbols of hope and unity to thousands of spectators along the route. The Milano-Cortina 2026 Winter Games hold a unique place in Olympic history. They will be the first Winter Olympics hosted through a fully decentralized model, with events spread across multiple iconic Italian regions, from the ice rinks of Milan to the sweeping slopes of Cortina d'Ampezzo, and from the high-speed tracks of Valtellina to the breathtaking arenas of Val di Fiemme. Each site carries its own story and character. And now, with today's ceremony, those stories have officially begun to unfold. As officials delivered speeches, they emphasized the symbolism of this moment. The flame represents not just athletic excellence, but also peace, collaboration, and cultural exchange. The Olympic movement has long stood as a reminder that even in times of global tension and uncertainty, humanity can gather together in the spirit of fair competition and shared values. Today's lighting ceremony echoed that message powerfully. The torch will now travel through Greece, stopping at key cultural sites before being handed over to the Italian delegation in a formal ceremony. After that, the flame will cross the Mediterranean and begin its Italian journey, passing through major cities and remote mountain towns alike. Along the way, thousands of torchbearers, athletes, volunteers, cultural icons, and ordinary citizens will carry the flame through their communities, each adding their own layer of meaning to the relay. As the flame moves from Olympia to Milan and Cortina, it will ignite excitement for the upcoming games, inspiring young athletes and reminding the world of the values at the heart of the Olympic tradition. 72 days from now, when the flame finally arrives at the opening ceremony, it will light the cauldron and officially begin the Milano-Cortina 2026 Winter Games. But the journey begins here, on this ancient ground where history, culture, and athletic spirit converge. Under the watchful gaze of mountains and ruins, a small flame has been born. And soon, it will burn brightly across Europe, carrying with it the promise of new achievements, unforgettable stories, and a celebration of human potential that transcends borders, politics, and time. This is the path of the Olympic flame, its past rooted deeply in ancient Olympia, and its future racing toward the snow-covered peaks of Italy. As the world turns its attention to the upcoming Games, today's ceremony stands as a reminder of the extraordinary power of tradition, unity, and the shared human desire to strive for something greater.
Εξοχότατε, κύριε Πρόεδρε της Ελληνικής Δημοκρατίας, αξιότιμη Πρόεδρε της Διεθνούς Ολυμπιακής Επιτροπής, αξιότιμε Πρόεδρε της Ελληνικής Ολυμπιακής Επιτροπής, αξιότιμε Πρόεδρε της Διεθνούς Ολυμπιακής Ακαδημίας, αξιότιμε Πρόεδρε της Οργανωτικής Επιτροπής Μιλάνο-Κορτίνα 2026, αξιότιμε Υπουργέ Αθλητισμού της Ιταλίας, αξιότιμε εκπρόσωπε της ελληνικής κυβέρνησης, αξιότιμοι πρέσβεις, αξιότιμοι κύριοι Υπουργοί, κύριε Περιφερειάρχα, εκλεκτοί προσκεκλημένοι, κυρίες και κύριοι. Σας καλωσορίζουμε στην αρχαία Ολυμπία, στον τόπο που επιλέχθηκε από τους αρχαίους Έλληνες να φιλοξενήσει και να δώσει σχήμα και μορφή σε αυτό που σήμερα ονομάζουμε παγκόσμιο αθλητικό και πολιτιστικό ιδεώδες. Εδώ που η ιστορία δεν βρίσκεται πίσω μας, αλλά ζει και αναπνέει γύρω μας. Χαραγμένη στο τοπίο, φυλαγμένη στις μνήμες, ζωντανή στα μονοπάτια που ενώνουν τα ιερά, το στάδιο και τους μύθους, που εξακολουθεί να εμπνέει, να διδάσκει και να υπενθυμίζει ότι η ειρήνη, η άμυλα και η ανθρώπινη υπέρβαση μπορούν να γεννηθούν από μια μικρή κοιλάδα και να γίνουν παγκόσμιο φως. Η δύναμη αυτού του τόπου δεν είναι μουσιακή. Είναι επίκαιρη, είναι ζωντανή, είναι βαθιά ανθρώπινη. Οι συμβολισμοί και οι αξίες του, τόσο οικείες σε όλους μας, είναι αναγκαίες σήμερα όσο ποτέ. Από εδώ ξεκινούσε επί αιώνες η υπενθύμηση ότι ο άνθρωπος αξίζει μια ζωή χωρίς φόβο, χωρίς τον ίσκιο του πολέμου. Και η Ολυμπιακή εκεχηρία υπήρξε το πρώτο παγκόσμιο όχι στη βία. Το πρώτο οργανωμένο, νομικό και ηθικό πλαίσιο προστασίας της ανθρώπινης ζωής. Κι όμως σήμερα η ανθρωπότητα διασχίζει μια εποχή πολλαπλών και παράλληλων κρίσεων. Οι πόλεμοι πολλαπλασιάζονται από την Ευρώπη μέχρι τη Μέση Ανατολή και από την Ασία μέχρι την Αφρική. Θα πρέπει λοιπόν να παραδεχθούμε με ειλικρίνεια ότι μια κοινωνία σε πόλεμο είναι μια κοινωνία αποτυχημένη. Μέσα σε αυτό το τοπίο αβεβαιότητας, η ανθρωπότητα χρειάζεται σταθερές. Χρειάζεται σημεία αναφοράς που δεν φθύρονται από το χρόνο. Και μία από αυτές τις σταθερές θα είναι πάντα η αρχαία Ολυμπία και η Ολυμπιακή φλόγα που ανάβει σήμερα. Μια φλόγα που ορθώνεται σαν χειρονομία ανθρωπιάς, σαν κάλεσμα σε έναν κόσμο που δεν θα συνηθίσει ποτέ τη βία. Μια υπενθύμηση ότι ο πολιτισμός χτίζεται όταν ο άνθρωπος προστατεύεται, όταν η ζωή έχει αξία υπέρτατη και όχι σχετική, όταν η αξιοπρέπεια είναι αδιαπραγμάτευτη. Ή όπως έλεγε ο Γκάντι, όταν η δύναμη της αγάπης νικήσει την αγάπη της δύναμης, τότε θα έχουμε ειρήνη. Θέλω σήμερα να μιλήσω καθαρά για αυτό το φως. Όχι μόνο ως δήμαρχος ενός τόπου ιδιαίτερου, αλλά ως πολίτης ενός κόσμου που δοκιμάζεται. Η αφή της φλόγας μας επιτρέπει να θυμηθούμε ξανά τις αξίες που δίνουν προσανατολισμό στην ανθρωπότητα. Αξίες που γεννήθηκαν και σφυριλατήθηκαν εδώ. Αξίες που αναγνωρίζονται ως θεμέλιο της κοινής μας μοίρας. Η συναδέλφωση, ο σεβασμός στη ζωή, η δικαιοσύνη, η αριστεία, η ευγενής άμυλα και βέβαια η ειρήνη. Σε έναν κόσμο όπου η απληστία και η ματαιοδοξία κυριαρχούν, η ένταση κλιμακώνεται, η λογική σιωπά, τα όπλα μιλούν, η Ολυμπία ζητά κάτι συγκεκριμένο. Να υψωθεί ξανά η φωνή μιας οικουμενικής ηθικής. Μιας ηθικής που θέτει τον άνθρωπο στο κέντρο. Μιας ηθικής που αρνείται να συνηθίσει τους πολέμους. Μιας ηθικής που θεωρεί αυτονόητη την προστασία των παιδιών και των αμάχων σε κάθε γωνιά του πλανήτη. Η φλόγα δεν μπορεί να σταματήσει τον πόλεμο. Μπορεί όμως να φωτίσει μέσα στο ζωφερό σκοτάδι. Μπορεί να δείξει το δρόμο. Και αυτό είναι το μέτρο της διαχρονίας της. Είναι ο λόγος που η ανθρώπινη συνείδηση επιστρέφει πάντα σε αυτή. Η Ολυμπία μπορεί να γίνει ξανά τόπος συνάντησης πριν γίνει τόπος τελετής. Γιατί ο κόσμος χρειάζεται έναν ουδέτερο, ηθικά ακέραιο τόπο, όπου η αξία της ζωής μιλά πιο δυνατά από τις διαφωνίες. Τον τόπο που μετασχημάτισε τις αξίες σε πράξη και τους συμβολισμούς σε θεσμό. Φίλες και φίλοι, από την Ολυμπία ξεκινά μια φλόγα που σηματοδοτεί κάτι περισσότερο από ιστορία. Σηματοδοτεί τη δυνατότητα ενός καλύτερου αύριο. Ας την αφήσουμε λοιπόν να μας καθοδηγήσει. Ας μας θυμίσει ότι ο κόσμος δεν χτίζεται με φόβο, αλλά με θάρρος. Και ίσως τότε να καταφέρουμε ως ανθρωπότητα, όπως θα έλεγε ο ποιητής, να αποδίδουμε δικαιοσύνη με ένα άστρο ή με ένα γιασεμί ή με ένα κλαδί αγριελιάς, θα προσθέσω εγώ. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
Η Οργανωτική Επιτροπή των Χειμερινών Ολυμπιακών και Παραολυμπιακών Αγώνων Μιλάνο-Cortina 2026 τιμά την τελετή αφής με μια μεγάλη αποστολή εκπροσώπων της. Καλούμε τον πρόεδρό της, κύριο Giovanni Malagò, να απευθύνει χαιρετισμό. The Organizing Committee for the Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games Milano-Cortina 2026 honors today's ceremony with a large delegation. We invite its president, Mr. Giovanni Malagò, to address the audience.
Your Excellency, President of the Hellenic Republic, Mr. Konstantinos Tassoulas, Madame President of the International Olympic Committee, Kirsty Coventry, President Thomas Bach, Minister of Sport and Youth, Andrea Bodi, dear Mayor of Ancient Olympia, dear IOC colleagues and friends of the Olympic movement, members of the institutions, distinguished guests. Standing here today, it's impossible not to be inspired and moved by the sheer weight of a history and tradition that sits at the heart of our great Olympic movement. Here, in this very special location, where athletes came together to compete nearly 3,000 years ago, we're able to draw a clear line connecting the ancient and modern games. Every 4 years, ancient Greeks will light a flame as an act of sacred worship to Zeus, acknowledging his supreme status as king of the gods and a symbol of his power. As students of ancient history will know, it was Zeus who brought unity and harmony to the chaos of the heavens, establishing the rhythms of the seasons. And today, as the Olympic flame begins its journey to Milano-Cortina 2026, we celebrate the same ideal, harmonia, a harmony and unity that will bring all of Italy and all of the world together for the Olympic Games in just 72 days. The ceremony we are about to witness and the passing of the torch provides a symbolic bridge between antiquity and modernity. In 1960, the torch relay route for the Rome Olympic Games was designed to link Athens and Rome as the centers of classical civilization. As with those games 65 years ago, the Milano-Cortina torch relay will respect our shared classical heritage, passing through Rome's imperial monuments, Pompeii, Appian Way, and regions of Magna Graecia, creating a story of continuity between ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and modern Olympism. Over the next few weeks, the Olympic flame will pass through all the Italian provinces, 60 cities, 300 towns, 20 regions, and all the UNESCO sites. It will travel from the northern peaks to the southern shores, carried by 10,001 proud torchbearers. One country, one story. The Italian spirit will shine brightly in the flame of the torch, igniting the whole of Italy and uniting the world in the common purpose which sits at the heart of Milano-Cortina: to use the timeless power of the Olympic Games to create new opportunities for young generations through sports. 20 years ago, I was given the incredible honor of carrying the Olympic torch for the Torino 2006 Winter Games in Roma. It created an immense emotion that is still engraved in my heart. This time, as the proud president of the organizing committee for Milano-Cortina 2026, it will be extremely privileged to carry the Olympic flame once again along the banks of the River Tiber onto the Olympic Preparation Center, founded by Giulio Onesti for the Rome 1960 Olympic Games, retracing the exact same route I ran 20 years ago. Every step I and the thousands of runners take over the next 10 weeks will remind the world of the power of sport to build bridges, break down barriers, and together create a healthier and more sustainable future together. I wish to thank the President of the Hellenic Republic and the Hellenic Olympic Association for the work that they do to preserve and protect this sacred place. And I look forward to welcoming the world to Milano-Cortina for next year's Winter Olympic Games. Thank you.
Ακολουθεί χαιρετισμός της Προέδρου της Διεθνούς Ολυμπιακής Επιτροπής και πρώτης γυναίκας στην ηγεσία του Ολυμπιακού Κινήματος, κυρίας Kirsty Coventry. Please welcome now the first woman to lead the Olympic movement, the President of the International Olympic Committee, Mrs. Kirsty Coventry.
Thank you, and good morning to all of you. Dear President of the Hellenic Republic, Your Excellency Konstantinos Tassilos, to my dear colleague and friend, President of the Milano-Cortina 2026, my dear friend, well done on your speech. All you wanted was a little kiss from me, so congratulations. To our honorary President Bach, to the honorary, to the Mayor of Olympia, to our dear sports ministers, both from Greece and Italy, to the President of the Hellenic Olympic Committee, to my dear fellow colleagues of the IOC, and please allow me to say all very important guests that are here with us today. I want to start by thanking our Greek hosts. And Your Excellency, outside when we welcomed you, you said to me, this place must have a special place and mean something special to me. But that journey started in 2004, and Greece changed my life, and it changed the path that I took. So it has more than a special place, and it will continue. It will continue to light and keep a light in my heart for the rest of my life. It is truly wonderful to be here today. And thank you, Your Excellency, for the role that you play and for all of your colleagues that have kept the cultural heritage of Olympia alive for generations. It is so important to the story that we tell of the Olympic Games, of the ancient Olympic Games, but of the modern Olympic Games. And the commitment that you have and that everyone in this room has to Olympia and to keeping the story of ancient Olympia alive does not go unrecognized. As I said, it's incredibly memorable and a little bit emotional for me to be standing here. The last time I was in this room, I was being introduced to you, Your Excellency, by our president, and you shared with me a little story that some of the first incredible mayors of this great nation were women. And I said to you, well, I hope to be the first woman of this incredible organization. And it is very special to be back here. And symbolic that the weather kept us from outside, but extremely symbolic to be standing in this exact spot where I first got to meet you. So I think things happen for a reason. But now we are here to celebrate the Olympic flame and the lighting of the Olympic flame and what that represents to each and every one of us. We are going to get to be in Milano-Cortina in just a few weeks. And for me, that will be my first games as president. Over the past few weeks, we've gotten to truly understand what the Olympic spirit means, and we got to share with some of you the very start and essence of that last week at the UN when we got to hear the Olympic truce being observed, but not just observed, honored by member states. And it feels that the past and the present are really coming together. We are extremely happy that today's ceremony reminds us what the Games stand for. They're about bringing people together in peaceful competition, in friendship, and in respect. And as we light the Olympic flame from Milano-Cortina, we will carry this light from the past to the present and continue it into the future. And it's a shared future that we all want to see. This is why we firmly believe in the Olympic truce, in laying down our differences and wanting to hope for a brighter future. As we heard, the flame will soon travel to Italy, a country where passion runs deep in the hearts of its people. From the vibrant Milano to the majestic Dolomites, the Italian Alps, this passion will inspire not just Italy, but it will inspire a world. And the heartbeat of the Games will shine through every moment. Today, we started a very symbolic day by standing at the foot of Pierre de Coubertin's tomb, where his heart is. And it was a special moment because it reminded us where the modern Games started. As the emotions. These Games come at a critical part in our history. Thank you. I wasn't supposed to get emotional, but this place is very special. And it's so special because in a divided world that we live in today, the Games hold a truly symbolic place. And it's our duty, it's our responsibility to ensure that the athletes from around the world can come together peacefully and that they can inspire the dreams and hopes of those around the world that are watching. This is the true Olympic spirit. They live the values that unite us. They show us the best of humanity, where no discrimination is seen on the field of play. That spirit can only flourish when every eligible athlete and team and official can take part. And the Olympic Games will always continue to exist to break down walls that are put in our way. The flame we light today carries not just the hopes of the athletes, but the dreams of all of those who believe in the power of sport. And that power of sport unites us and it inspires us. But it also reminds us that every Olympic Games is a part of a living tradition. It's connecting generations, cultures, and people across the various generations. This is a world that I am so proud to be living in, even with all its challenges. And I am so proud to be leading this organization, and I cannot wait to continue with all of you and the support of all of you to ensure that we inspire the next generation to come. Thank you.
Την ευθύνη για την τελετή αφής και την προστασία του θεσμού της Ολυμπιακής Φλόγας έχει πάντα η Ελληνική Ολυμπιακή Επιτροπή. Καλούμε στο βήμα τον πρόεδρο της Ελληνικής Ολυμπιακής Επιτροπής, κύριο Ισίδωρο Κούβελο, για το χαιρετισμό του. The Hellenic Olympic Committee holds responsibility for the lighting ceremony and the safeguarding of the Olympic flame. We invite its president, Mr. Isídoros Kouvelos.
Your Excellency, President of the Hellenic Republic, Mr. Konstantinos Tassoulas, Madame IOC President, dear Kirsty Coventry, distinguished guests, today on this sacred land, a land where time itself seems to pause, where the stones still whisper the stories of the first athletes, we're all here together once again for a light that belongs not only to one nation, but to all humanity. To the ancients, fire was a gift from the gods, a symbol of life, purity and truth. But it is no longer a divine fire, it is a human fire, the fire of courage, unity, reconciliation. The flame that was lit carries a deeper meaning, shaped by centuries of struggle, hope, and human evolution. If the winds and clouds urge us to light the flame earlier, let it be a sign that Olympia belongs to all elements: the sun, the wind, the rain, and sacred fire. And just behind us stands the Nike of Peonios, the winged symbol of victory, once raised to celebrate triumph in wars of war. Today, she looks upon a different kind of conquest, not to defeat of an enemy, but the victory of peace over conflict, of the human spirit over its own limitations. The flame now burns beside her, as if she descends once more upon this valley, blessing not armies, but athletes, showing that true glory in Olympia is forever linked with harmony among people. Over the centuries, Olympia gives the world the same promise, that sport can be a bridge stronger than the forces that try to divide us. President Giovanni Malagò, the journey that begins today carries with it the hopes of athletes from every corner of the earth. May this flame illuminate your mountains, your cities, and the hearts of your people, with the same purity with which it is born here. Madam President Kirsti Coventry, at this moment in history, when the world longs for voices of stability and unity, the Olympic movement stands guided by your leadership. You continue the same mission that began here 2,800 years ago, to show humanity a path towards harmony, respect, and peaceful coexistence. Your Excellency, President Tassoulas, your presence here today honors values that sprang from this very soil, values that continue to inspire nations, to believe in dialogue, cooperation, and hope. Ladies and gentlemen, as the flame now burns, where silence carries its own ancient wisdom and memory rests among the stones, let us feel its warmth within our souls and remember this simple truth. The Olympic flame carries no passport. It recognizes no borders, no divisions. It carries only the dust of the ancient gymnasium, the breath of the runners, the prayers of the priestesses, and the dreams of every child who dares to rise beyond their limitations. And now, as the flame begins its journey to Milano-Cortina, may it inspire athletes to compete with purity, nations with respect, and the world to remember what Olympia taught us long ago. Peace is possible when humanity chooses it. And when we choose light, darkness has nowhere to stand. Thank you very much.
Στο Παρίσι 2024 Πέτρο Γκαϊτατζή. Now the High Priest will hand the Olympic flame to the first torchbearer, bronze medalist rowing at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, Petros Γκαϊτατζής.
Τίνελα, ω Καλλίνικε, τίνελα.